What is anger? Have you ever said something in anger that you regretted just a few minutes later? Maybe you shouted at your child after a stressful day at work, argued your spouse, lost your temper in traffic, or became upset after reading something on social media. If yes, then you are not alone. Anger is one of the most common human emotions. In fact, it is as natural as happiness, sadness, or fear. The problem is not that we become angry. The real problem is that most of us never taught how to understand anger. Anger doesn't always appear as shouting. Sometimes it hides behind frustration, resentment, jealousy, irritation, stress, stubbornness, or constant criticism. Think of anger as the red warning light on your car's dashboard. The light is not the problem, it is trying to tell you that something needs attention. If you break the warning light, the engine problem still remains. Similarly, suppressing anger or exploding anger are both unhealthy. What we need is to understand the message hidden inside anger. In this video, we will learn how to convert anger from our biggest enemy into one of our greatest teachers. The valuable message of anger. Imagine you accidentally touch a hot pan. Pain immediately tells you to remove your hand. You don't hate the pain because it saved you from a bigger injury. Anger works in a similar way. Whenever someone insults us, breaks our trust, crosses our boundaries, or when we witness injustice happening to someone else, anger arises. This emotion is actually asking one simple question. Something is wrong. What are you going to do about it? Sometimes the answer is to change the situation. Sometimes it is to communicate. Sometimes it is to forgive. Sometimes it is to walk away. Our body also speaks this language. Our heartbeat increases, our muscles tighten, our breathing changes. These are not enemies, these are alarm bells asking you to pay attention. The wiser we become, the faster we learn to listen to these signals before anger controls our actions. Suppressed anger. Many Indian families teach children good children never get angry. Boys don't cry. Respect elder no matter what. Keep quiet. Although these lessons are given with good intentions, many people grow up believing that anger itself is bad. So what happens? Instead of expressing anger in a healthy way, they swallow it. They smile outside, but inside they carry resentment for years. Suppressed anger is like a steam trapped inside a pressure cooker. From outside, everything looks normal, but pressure continues to build. One day, something very small happens, and suddenly the cooker explodes. Boom. People wonder, why did he react so strongly? Actually, the explosion did not begin today. It begins years ago. Unexpressed emotions never disappear. They simply change their address. Sometimes they become headaches, sometimes stomach problems, sometimes anxiety, sometimes depression, sometimes broken relationship. Learning to acknowledge our anger is not weakness, it is emotional maturity. When anger becomes destructive, there is an old Indian saying: one moment of uncontrolled anger can destroy years of hard earned respect. Just think about it. A husband says one hurtful sentence in anger. The words last only a few seconds, but the emotional wound may last for years. A manager insults an employee in front of others. The employee never forget that humiliation. A son shouts at his aging parents. The parents forgive him, but their hearts carry the pain. Anger itself is not dangerous. Uncontrolled expression of anger is dangerous. When we attack another person with harsh words, we are actually throwing burning coal. But before the coal reaches the other person, it first burns our own hand. Modern medical research also tells us that frequent anger outbursts increase stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Blood pressure rises, heart rate increases. The risk of heart attack and stroke also becomes higher. So, before reacting, ask yourself one question: do I want to solve the problem, or do I want to win the argument? Winning an argument may satisfy your ego. Solving the problem improves your life. Wise people choose solutions over victories. Remember, an uncontrolled tongue can destroy what years of love have built. The first step in anger management. Many people ask, how can I stop getting angry? The answer may surprise you. The first step is not controlling anger. The first step is accepting that you are angry. Imagine your house catches fire. Would you first argue whether the fire should exist? No, you would first admit, yes, there is a fire. Only then you can extinguish it. The same is true for emotions. Instead of saying I am fine, I don't care, it doesn't matter, try saying, yes, I am feeling angry. That single sentence changes everything, because once you become aware of your emotion, you will stop becoming its slave. At this moment, don't judge yourself. Don't label yourself as a bad person. Being angry doesn't make you a bad human being. It makes you a human being. Then calm your body. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Drink some water. Walk for 5 minutes. Sit quietly or simply remain silent. When the body becomes calm, the mind also becomes calmer. Remember, remember, you cannot calm an angry mind if your body is still fighting. Learning the art of compassionate anger. Let me tell you a small story. A teacher was writing on the blackboard. One student accidentally spilled ink on an important notebook. The teacher had two choices. He could shout, "You are useless fellow, you never learn." Or he could say, "I am disappointed because this notebook was important. Let us see how we can avoid this mistake next time. In both situations, the teacher felt the same emotion. The difference was only in the way it was expressed. This is called compassionate anger. Compassionate anger is not weakness, it is controlled strength. It means expressing your feelings without insulting another person's dignity. Instead of saying you are irresponsible, say I felt disappointed when this happened. Instead of attacking the person, focus on the behavior. Notice what happens. The other person becomes less defensive. Communication becomes easier. Solutions become possible. The great Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu advised us to meet injury with goodness. Our own Indian scriptures teach the same wisdom. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that a person whose mind remains steady even in difficult situations is truly wise. Anyone can shout. It takes real strength to remain calm. Remember, loud voices create fear, calm voices create change. Expressing anger with love. Let me tell you a simple story. Ravi returned home after a long day at work. His wife forgot that it was his birthday. No cake, no wishes, nothing. Immediately, two voices started fighting inside his mind. The voice said, she doesn't care about me. Second voice said, maybe she is under stress, talk to her. Now Robbie had two choices. The first choice was to shout, you never care about me. The evening would end in silence, tears, and distance. The second choice was different. He calmly said, today was my birthday. I felt hurt because celebrating birthdays is important to me. I know you may have been busy, but I wanted to share how I felt. Notice something. He didn't attack her character. He only described his feelings. Psychologists call this I statements. Instead of saying you always, you never, say I felt, I was disappointed, I was hurt. When we attack a person's character, they stop listening. When we share our feelings honestly, they start understanding. Even Lord Rama, despite facing countless disappointments, chose respectful communication over harsh words. True strength is not shouting louder. True strength is speaking honestly while protecting the dignity of another person. Remember this beautiful formula. Attack the problem, never attack the person. When talking doesn't work, have you ever noticed that some conversations become impossible? You speak calmly, the other person becomes louder. You explain, they interrupt. You try again, the argument becomes worse. In such situations, silence can sometimes be wiser than a speech. There is a beautiful saying, when emotions are high, intelligence is low. Imagine trying to repair your mobile phone during an earthquake. Would it work? Similarly, trying to solve a relationship problem while both people are angry rarely succeeds. Sometimes the best decision is to pause. Write your thoughts, sleep over them, talk the next day. Writing has a magical effect. As thoughts move from the mind onto paper, emotional pressure decreases. Many psychologists recommend journaling because it helps organize emotions before expressing them. In the Mahabharata, many wars began because people reacted immediately instead of reflecting. A delayed response is often wiser than an immediate reaction. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. The letter you never send. Now, let me share one of the most powerful anger management exercises. Suppose someone has deeply hurt you. Maybe they insulted you years ago. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they are no longer alive. Maybe meeting them is impossible. What should you do? Take a notebook, write everything, every emotion, every disappointment, every tear. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about beautiful handwriting. Just empty your heart. Then read the letter once. Thank yourself for expressing your feelings. Finally, tear it up or burn it safely. Why? Because the purpose of the letter was never to punish another person. It was to free your own heart. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy backpack every day. The person who hurt you may have forgotten the incident long ago, but you continue carrying its weight. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was right. Forgiveness is saying I refuse to let this event control the rest of my life. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Sometimes walking away is wisdom. Many people believe that every relationship must be saved at any cost. But life teaches us something different. Imagine a gardener. He waters every plant, must begin to grow, but one plant remains completely diseased. Despite every effort, it keeps harming the surrounding plants. What should the gardener do? Sometimes letting go is also an act of wisdom. Some friendships become toxic. Some workplaces become emotionally unhealthy. Some relationships repeatedly destroy our peace despite honest efforts. Leaving such situations doesn't always mean failure. Sometimes it mean some sorry. Sometimes it means choosing life over suffering. Even Lord Krishna left Mathura and established Dwarka, not because he was weak, but because protecting his people required a wiser path. Before leaving, however, ask yourself three questions. Did I communicate honestly? Did I genuinely try to improve the situation? Can I live without hatred? If the answer is yes, then walk away with dignity. Not revenge, not bitterness, not hatred. Because peace is far more variable than providing yourself than sorry This is far more valuable than proving yourself right. Remember, sometimes the bravest step is not holding on, it is letting go gracefully. When anger becomes a habit, seek help. Let me begin with a story. A young man visited a saint and asked, Maharaj, why do I become angry over such small things? The saint smiled and handed him a glass full of muddy water. He said, keep shaking this glass every minute. After half an hour, the young man complained, the water never becomes clear. The saint replied, exactly. As long as you keep shaking it, the mud never settles. Some people experience this every day. They wake up irritated, traffic makes them angry, office makes them angry, family makes them angry, news makes them angry, even small mistakes make them explode. There is no longer ordinary anger. This is chronic anger. Very often, chronic anger is not about today's problem. It is the echo of yesterday's wounds. Sometimes childhood criticism, sometimes emotional neglect, sometimes physical abuse, sometimes years of humiliation. Many people are carrying wounds they never chose. If this sounds like you, please remember something important. Seeking help is not weakness. Just as we visit a doctor for diabetes or high blood pressure, there is absolutely no shame in consulting a psychologist, counselor, or a spiritual mentor for emotional pain. Real courage is not hiding your wounds. Real courage is healing them. Remember, the strongest people are not those who never fall. They are the ones who seek help when they need it. Jealousy, anger's silent brother. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and silently thought, why them? Why not me? Maybe your colleague got promoted. Maybe your neighbor bought a new car. Maybe your cousin's child scored higher marks. Maybe someone on social media appears happier than you. Almost every human being has experienced this feeling. This is called jealousy. Jealousy quietly whispers, life has been unfair to me. But there is another way of looking at the same situation. Imagine two students. Both see the class topper. One says, I hate him. The other says, I want to learn how he studies. One becomes bitter, the other becomes better. The difference is not the situation, the difference is in the attitude. In the Mahabharata, Duryodhana spent his entire life comparing himself with the Pandavas. Comparison slowly becomes jealousy. Jealousy becomes hatred. Hatred becomes Hatred became war. One emotion destroyed an entire kingdom. Instead of asking, why does he have it? Ask, what can I learn from him? Some, Someone else's success is not proof of your failure. It is proof that success is possible. Remember, comparison steals joy. Learning creates growth. Trust divine timing. Have you ever planted a mango seed? Can you pull the leaves every morning to make it grow faster? Of course not. Every seed has its own season. Life is exactly the same. Many of us become angry because life is not moving according to our timetable. My promotion should have happened by now. I should have been married by now. My business should have grown faster. My children should understood me, but nature teaches patience. Even the sun rises at its own time. A flower blooms only when it is ready. A baby cannot be born in 4 months simply because the parents are impatient. Many successful people later admitted, if success had come earlier, I wasn't mature enough to handle it. Sometimes delay are not punishment, they are preparation. Lord Krishna could have ended the Mahabharata long before the war, yet every event unfolded at its proper time. Timing matters. While waiting, don't make bitter become better. Remember, your job is effort. The timing belongs to life. Make a space for happiness. Let me tell you a funny story. A man kept praying, God, please bless me with a new car. One day God replied, first remove all the junk from your garbage. Sorry, first remove all the junk from your garage. Many of us ask life for new blessings while holding tightly to old burdens. We want better relationship, but we don't give time to our family. We want better health, but never exercise. We want peace, but we spend 6 hours every day on our phones. Everything valuable requires space. A garden cannot grow if weeds occupy every corner. Likewise, love needs time. Friendship needs attention. Health needs discipline. The spirituality needs silence. Ask yourself today, what must I remove from my life so something beautiful can enter? Sometimes success is not about adding more, it is about removing what no longer serves you. Remember, if if your hands are already full, how will life place something new into them? The price of too much. There is an old say a story about a king. He possessed everything: palaces, gold, jewels, servants. Yet every night he could not sleep. One evening he met a poor farmer sleeping peacefully under a tree. The king asked, how can you sleep so peacefully? The farmer smiled and replied, because I own my possessions. Your possessions own you. Think about our modern lives. One mobile phone, then another, then upgrades, new gadgets, new clothes, new loans, new EMIs, new worries. More possessions often mean more maintenance, more responsibility, more stress. This is why many wealthy people still feel exhausted. True wealth is not measured by how much you own. True wealth is measured by how much peace remains after everything is counted. Kabir beautifully said, साईं इतना दीजिए जामी कुटुम शमाए मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं साधु न भूखा जाए. He didn't ask for unlimited wealth. He asked for enough. Enough to live peacefully. Remember, the richest person is not the one who has the most, who has the most. It is the one who needs the least. Suspicion, the enemy of love. Imagine holding a beautiful bird in your hand. If you hold it too loosely, it may fly away. If you hold it too tightly, you may hurt it. Relationships are exactly the same. Love grows through trust. Suspicion slowly destroys that trust. Sometimes people constantly check their partner's phone, question every phone call, imagine things without evidence. Over time, this creates distance instead of closeness. Very often, excessive suspicion is not caused by the partner, it comes from our own past fears. Perhaps someone betrayed us before. Perhaps we experienced abandonment as a child. These old wounds color today's relationship. Healing begins when we recognize this. Trust doesn't mean becoming foolish. Trust means giving respect until there is genuine reason not to. Healthy love breathes. Unhealthy love suffocates. Remember, love grows where trust lives. Fear grows where suspicion lives. Final life lesson: anger versus hate. Before we conclude, let me tell you a story from the life of the Buddha. One day, a man approached the Buddha and began insulting him in front of everyone. He shouted, criticized, and tried everything possible to provoke him. The Buddha remained calm. Finally, the man became tired and asked, "Why didn't you respond?" The Buddha smiled and asked, "If someone brings you a gift and you refuse to accept it, whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the person who brought it." The Buddha said, "Exactly, I did not accept your anger, therefore it remains with you." What an extraordinary lesson! Every day people may criticize us, misunderstand us, or behave unfairly. But we still have one freedom. We can decide whether to accept that anger or let it pass. Remember, no one can make you angry without your permission. Yes, people can trigger us, but our response always belongs to us. Viktor Frankl, the famous psychiatrist, beautifully said, between a stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. That small pause, just a few seconds, can save a relationship, a career, sometimes even a life. So, next time anger knocks on your door, don't open it immediately. Ask, "What message have you brought for me?" You may discover that anger came not to destroy you, but to teach you. Anger can become your greatest teacher. Now let us end with one of the most profound teachings from the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Krodha bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti vransad buddhinasho buddhinashat pran, pransyati. Its meaning is simple. From anger comes confusion. Confusion clouds memory. Memory loses wisdom. Wisdom disappears. And ultimately, a person destroys himself. Notice something. Krishna never says never feel anger. Instead, he teaches us not to become servant of anger. So, let me leave you with a simple 5-step formula that you can remember for the rest of your life. Step 1. Pause. When anger rises, don't react immediately. Take one deep breath. Step 2. Observe. Ask yourself what exactly hurt me. Is it disrespect, fear, disappointment, jealousy? Step 3. Express. Speak calmly. Use I feel instead of you always. Step 4. Decide. Can this situation be improved? Can it be forgiven? Or is it time to let go? Step 5. Grow. Every episode of anger is an opportunity to know yourself better. Don't waste that opportunity because every emotion is a teacher. If you learn the lesson, the emotion slowly loses its power over you. Remember this life mantra. Anger is like fire. Fire can cook your food. Fire can also burn your house. The difference is not the fire. Difference is not in the fire. The difference is in the one who controls it. My dear friends, may your words become gentler. May your relationship become stronger. May your heart become lighter. And may your anger becomes wisdom. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who may be silently struggling with anger. Sometimes one conversation can save a relationship and sometimes it can save life. Until we meet again, stay calm, stay compassionate, and keep growing.